So for this episode of Shift Happens Catalyst Conversations, I have with me Arnau. He mostly works with men, but I guess women also get some kind of ideas from this episode. Because end of the day, we are still all human. We still have some things in common, and maybe his story of transformation can inspire you, specifically you. I know that most of my listeners and viewers are women, but maybe this can also change. So now, welcome. And usually, where I start with some kind of shift or transformation. So I would love you to tell me some kind of a story, some shift, change, transformation that you made. Maybe something that was like the main thing that defined you, or maybe some kind of recent change that you had. Whatever you want to share, just start somewhere and let's see where we end up.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me here to your place, your studio. Yeah, giving me your tea, introducing me to your cat. Thank you for this opportunity. Well, I'll introduce myself a little bit just so we don't go over that. But I'm Arnau, yeah. And I've been dancing with this question lately. What do you do? And what do I do? Well, I'm an athlete.
It's a very annoying question,
It's
right?
an annoying
What
question.
do you do where you're from? It's like, oh my God, again.
But it can be annoying when we put it's been annoying for me in the past when I've taken myself too seriously in terms of what I do. When I think about what I do, I think about how do I interact with the world? How do I bring what kind of value do I bring to the world?
I guess it's also about, are you defined by what you do? Or are you like something more, something else?
Right.
At some point when I was still like in translation business, I was even like annoyed when somebody was saying, oh, you're a translator. I'm like, yeah, this is just something that I do. It doesn't mean that I am like
Yeah.
that my identity is translator. I can say that, yeah, basically my identity is also an athlete like yours, but it's, we always so much more.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. When depending on what kind of person you're talking to and how their level of consciousness, people will initially look at what we have. Some people will look at what we do, and then some people will look at who we are. So there's this have, do, be
And
kind
it
of
can also be
progress.
like some people might look at, okay, how do you make me feel? So if somebody's around you, how do you make these people feel usually?
Yeah.
Do you have like any kind of intention? How do you want people to feel around you?
Right, which is obviously an expression of of who you are. So who am I? So who am I and what do I do? Well, as you said, now I'm an athlete. Yeah, I'm an athlete. I love to compete. I like doing things that are challenging for me, having a clear goal and then working towards that, especially if it's something that I don't know yet how to do. Like now.
Oh, wow. So you just pick new kind of sport and then start doing it.
Yeah.
And just explore and figure it out on the way.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Correct. And I like to do it in with goals that are hard. So, for example, I had never run a triathlon. I could have gone for a small triathlon, but I went for an Ironman directly. Or swimming. I never swam other than the 1K or 1.8K that the half Ironman has. And right now I'm preparing for a 10-kilometer open water swim. So I like to set big goals. Yeah, obviously, the bigger the goal, the more we allow ourselves to progress there. And so what I do is I work on my own personal empowerment, and then I invite anyone who wants to be on that journey to join me. What do I mean with that? What do I mean with personal empowerment? I feel that, I believe that it is our responsibility as men, to cultivate our power. What is our power? It's our ability to transform reality, whether inside or outside, through the use of our will, through engaging in practices, in habits, and doing things that are important to us in order to progress in those parameters that are important for us. And so my way of sharing the message, my creative way of sharing that message is through the warrior archetype.
Is it coming from like, I think David Tite or whoever wrote about this warrior and king and magician and that it's different archetypes, man's way, something like this? It's a book for men.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Those are two different books. You're talking about The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. That book definitely had a little bit of an influence in me. Then the other book that you're talking about, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, this one is from Robert Moore and Douglas Gilbert.
Yeah, but
And
as you can see, I haven't read those books. I just know that they
yeah,
exist, kind of.
yeah,
So
got it.
yeah.
But the one with the archetypes, it's accurate knowledge. It comes from Carl Jung, which is the first one who ever talked about the subconscious and how we relate, how we men interact in the world. And so the warrior archetype, it's the archetype that we men need in order to execute, yeah, in order to get shit done, and to get shit done with a level of aggression. I'm not talking about rage. I'm not talking about anger. I'm not talking about aggressivity. Aggression that is uncontrolled. It has to be matured. Yeah, it has to be matured. It's aggression that it's cultivated by with having a very clear and rigid intention. And so when the intention is clear, then we can begin to organize our lives so that we are engaging in habits and practices and people and thoughts and activities, whatever that keeps us within the limits. So a rigid intention also requires a little bit of like having like a rigid frame through which we work
Yeah,
in.
structure is very masculine.
Structure is masculine, but structure is not like big to me. It's not like a rigid intention is it's fundamental, but it's not about being rigid for me personally, where I can't adapt. Like it's not that kind of rigidness. It's more like I have some limits that are rigid. Yeah. And what I mean with that is, okay, what do I mean with that? So, for example, you asked me initially, about the transformation that I've experienced. And part of the transformation that I've had has been overcoming addictions. I grew up here in Barcelona, and I grew up being addicted to weed, loving parties, loving girls, loving just alcohol, being out, dancing. I was the crazy guy.
Is it like the general vibe of the city as well?
Is it the vibe of the city?
Yeah. This having fun. Okay, I also see like a lot of fitness vibe. So there is like this fitness vibe, but there's also kind of this party vibe and fun vibe. So I can see these two different parts.
Mm.
Of course, the city is not to blame, but maybe it's kind of favoring certain kind of behavior.
Yeah. I have to say, I am, maybe it's not that different, but if I was your city and I had seen your city from experience as, let's call it as an immigrant, I would see things differently than how I see them. I have been born and raised here almost all my life. Obviously not, otherwise I wouldn't have this English, and maybe I'd still be in the city. But the city, when it comes to, and the country a little bit as well, is the Spanish culture or Catalan culture, and it's very focused on fun, on living a good life. It's warm weather. It's super fun in the summer. There's parties every day of the week. I'd say Thursday to Sunday, you can definitely do something. Everything starts very late, ends very
So
late.
there are many options,
There's
opportunities, events.
there's very options.
Yeah.
And as I grew up, and the environment in which I grew up in, it was almost like partying was the only option. Like my friends, my family members, some of them started smoking when they were younger than 15, smoking weed, I'm talking, and just engaging in that life. And alcohol too was very early. I guess a lot of cultures are very early, but I came from that. And so that led me to a path where I was never allowing myself to really question where I was, where was I going, and taking care of my body the accurate way. So I was always going through ups and downs in terms of how I was feeling, how I was looking in terms of like physically, my addictions, coming back and forth. And so the limits that I have now, when I talk about a rigid intention, one of the limits is I can't go back into trying. I'm sober, I'm sober. Boom, that's a limit. Now, that doesn't make me rigid, or I don't go out. Oh, that's a limit. Don't go out depending on what the intention is. I do believe that structure is important for men who want to be efficient. Maybe efficient is not the word. Maybe the word that like efficacy. No. Oh, yeah, efficient, like getting shit done.
Yeah, that's efficient.
That's efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have these routines, boundaries, just to be efficient. And why do you want to be efficient? What do you want to get done in life?
Look, I mean, that obviously, I'm thinking of the depth of the answer that I want to give here, but I have some goals, some things that I would like. Like, there's things that I would like. I'd love to have my own gym, for example,
That's cool.
but not like a small gym. I'd like to have a big, like, industrial space here in Barcelona. And it's also not easy, to have that big space in Barcelona. But I want people to be able to play with their bodies, to play in a way that they can exercise and they can train and they can become stronger, but not in a way that is rigid, where they have to go and sit and just be in the weights. In fact, sorry, be in the machines. I don't like machines in general. I want people to be able to try different things, maybe climb something,
It's kind of like a playground.
like a playground to cultivate the body. And that's why the warrior archetype as well. Like, I believe that you need a strong body, not as like completely outside of the aesthetics, that we are imposed by society and everything. A strong body is needed as a tool to cultivate the action that is needed for progress. And so I have some goals, like the gym. I want to be doing retreats. I want to be working with leaders here in Barcelona, all over the world. I don't want to be stuck to the city at the moment. I don't get to travel freely. I don't have that level of financial freedom at all, or location freedom. So I'm working to that. Now, what do I want to get done? I want to move forward in the parameters and the things that get me closer to that. No, there's a lot of work that I have to do with myself. This is the most with myself, and a lot of action. No, I need to. I just want to work. I don't need to. I'm not a
Yeah,
kid.
need is like,
Yeah, I'm not a kid.
sounds like a forcing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I want, this is like, oh, that's the desire. Need is like something that somebody else is maybe putting on you. You
Yeah.
need to do this. You have to. You must. But when it's like want, it's like, that's on me.
Yeah, there's no need. These are just decisions that I've made. Like, these are things that I want. Like, I have these goals, and so I have decided to be efficient and to have a little bit of, like, tighter boundaries than most people, because I believe that that is actually going to help me more than having looser boundaries. That's what I have decided. And also, as someone who loves power, not power in, loves being empowered, not loves, I just love being able to interact with the world in a powerful and authentic way, in a way that is intense.
With confidence.
With confidence, and with integrity, and with presence as well. No, just being aware that I'm actually doing this with confidence and with an intention. I like that. I'm not sure why I'm going this way, but
Let's come back to that transformation. You said that you were in a completely different place. All the fun, addictions, so-called bad stuff. What made you get out of that? How did you become this efficient man who knows clearly what he wants and who has boundaries and routines and all that stuff?
mm, I would say that there's always work to be done on the efficiency, and on the efficiency side. Sometimes there's fears, what I call the natural enemies of man. Like, there's fears, there's doubts, there's procrastination, there's weaknesses, vices, things that we face. But what made me change was that whenever I would do something that didn't align with my values, I would feel like, I'll call it pain, but there's always like a debit that is paid later on. It's like me smoking weed was making me happy for those hours, but then the day after, I'd feel that childish shame and guilt. Even though I had decided to smoke weed, like, I'm an adult. Why, if I decide, why do I have to feel shame and guilt? And yeah, well, and I wasn't enjoying that. I felt like that was preventing me for sure from advancing in those things that are important for me. I feel like all of these challenges that we face, addictions, vices, the natural enemies of man that I said, fear, doubts, these challengers, they prepare me, they prepare us for the next levels of accomplishments. They test us. Are you responsible enough for what's coming now? They test us. And one day, I'm having an honest conversation with another friend of mine, with Bram, who's been in your podcast already. He's sober as well. And he said, well, you can do whatever you want, but if this thing is important for you, just make a decision. and I decided I'm gonna be fully sober from now on.
Wow. So it only took like one conversation.
It took no.
No, more.
Multiple times. These things are not that easy. It took multiple times, but it took one decision. It took one decision.
And you never went back from that decision?
No.
It was like decision made.
Yeah.
I'm like sticking to this.
Yes, decision made. I'm out.
Mm.
I feel like I needed a way to be responsible for my actions, my life, and the consequences of that. Responsibility. I needed a way to take control of my life by taking responsibility at that point, because I was in a job that I was making good money. I was creating a community that I lead now. We're over 70 men here in Barcelona. The Barça Bros, you probably know that. Mostly
I've heard the name, yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, I haven't been invited to any of the gatherings.
You cannot come yet.
No, yet. Yeah, I don't want to come. I'm not a pro.
No, but there's the Barca girls as well. That was
Yeah.
created as a. There's also warrior women. That's like yourself.
Okay, warrior woman. That's already sounds like, yeah.
There's already a lot of that. There's also a lot of that. I mean, but I was doing things I should have been happy. You know, working, making money, living in Barcelona, paying my own things. I got to travel a little bit, see friends in other countries where I've lived in the past. I got to buy things for myself. I got to share time with friends. And I was so unfulfilled, so unfulfilled. And I didn't notice what was happening. I was doing things that I wasn't passionate about and that weren't authentic to me. Everything that I was doing was for. I think that it's important to have a plan, to know like it's okay to have a job. That's totally fine, as long as it's part of a strategy. For me personally, of where am I going and where I wanted to go, like the gym, the retreats, the mentorship with leaders, these things where I want to go, they weren't aligning with what I was doing. And so I needed to take responsibility of myself. And I think that there's two ways of taking responsibility, Like this time that I talked with Bram, you can make a promise. Okay, I decide, and make a promise to yourself. Yeah. Okay, you make a decision, You say, okay, Arnau, I decide that I am no longer going to take any alcohol, any weed. And I think, that is advice from me. Make a decision and then you can keep it. Now you're taking responsibility. Or another way of taking responsibility I found is by setting a goal, like an Ironman or like a bodybuilding competition, like yourself, and then walking towards that, because that will also make you have to organize your life in a way where you can actually achieve that. So that's like a nice way of taking.
Yeah, but with these goals, once you get to that point, once you get to that Ironman or competition, what do you think happens once this event is over? So if you only work towards this goal without actually enjoying the journey, many people might just, okay, I did a bodybuilding competition. Oh, no, I don't care anymore. I'm going back to like alcohol and whatever. This didn't happen to me because I also enjoyed the process. I love the journey. I just seeing what I'm capable of. I didn't do it just for the 3 minutes on stage because it's just one moment. And if you really hate the journey for like a year or so before that, that can be horrible. But do you think if somebody is only doing it for the goal, can it all fall apart again once the goal has been achieved? Because if you really hate the process, it's like if it's only the goal.
Yeah, I get where that's coming from. I get where that's coming from. I know that it can happen. You make a goal, and then once you get it done, then you self-sabotage yourself doing things that actually don't help anymore. Even on the way to getting the goal, if you don't like it, if I don't like it, I sometimes self-sabotage myself. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then you evaluate and you readjust and you make decisions and you stick to them, or I stick to them. I don't like saying you. But to me, it's important to evaluate which goals I'm setting for myself and why these goals are important for me.
So do you only think about the goals or do you also think about, okay, will I enjoy this journey? Will I love the process?
In order to enjoy the process, and I've had both, I believe that what may be achieved there has to be important for you. It has to be something that there's some passion about. Like to me, for example, when I joined an Ironman, it was important for like how I look and my achievements are important for me. And so every day when in a workout I beat a record, I beat the previous week's record, I'm celebrating that. Is it always fun? No.
Yeah.
It's definitely not always fun. But unless there's passion, I'm not gonna get to enjoy. Like it has to be something that is almost like alive inside of you. No, where it's something that you really want. And once there's that, then the journey with its ups and downs will be enjoyed. Will be enjoyed. I believe. I believe. So it has to be important for you. Now, goals, even though they give us like a very nice way, not a very nice way, they give us a different way of experiencing life because you're growing and then you're trying new things and then you're judging, not judging, but evaluating how we do things a little bit more, and it brings a different awareness. Goals can be goals can be a bit dangerous sometimes as well. I see where you're coming from because we may set a goal. First of all, we may set a goal that puts us in a competition with someone else. No, so for example, let's swim the Ironman. I could say my goal is to win the Ironman. Wait, now I am competing with so many other people. So goals, when there's like a competition with someone else rather than just us, leads to a room for it's a door for suffering if the goal is not achieved. No, if winning the other person, it's different to say I'm going to do my best and I'm going to finish it for sure at the best of my ability than saying I'm going to do better than X person for sure. So that can lead to some suffering. And then also, it's easy to set goals and things that are not important for us. Like I could be setting a goal, or that are done from like a childish point of view. So, for example, people being like, "Oh, I want to have six-pack abs," but it's done from what society believes that it's important, no? Or I want to make X amount of money, or I want to like goals that are put into our brain by other people that are actually not close to us.
And actually, coming to the six pack abs, I feel it's not about the six pack abs. It's about the feeling that you get when you have those and the opportunities that maybe open up for you. You get to be on the cover of Men's Health, or women look at you, or you feel like more confident. You can show off, and you will look good on the beach. It's not about the abs, but it's all the other things that are coming with it.
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah, good point. Yeah, no one cares about like we care about what we get afterwards.
Or the meaning of the abs.
Yeah.
So if somebody has six pack abs, it's like, okay, this person works on themselves. This person cares about the health. This person has some kind of values.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's not only the physical thing, it's the meaning that we put to these apps.
It takes discipline for
it's like,
sure.
oh, this person is disciplined. Or I bet he's only, drinking green smoothies or whatever, like, and eating protein. And then like make all these kinds of assumptions. Because it's not only the apps, it's the whole lifestyle that comes with it.
Yeah. So just having six-pack abs, for example, requires that your limits are pretty rigid in terms of what we do, like the alcohol that you can have, the diet that you have, the exercise that, like it takes. You need to have like some boundaries are needed to keep them throughout the year for sure. But I've seen huge men, yeah, huge like men that they will struggle to get into that door. But once they get into a room, they're like apologizing themselves. They're definitely insecure. You shake their hand and they look down and you're like, you're humongous, you're a big man. How can that happen? But look, six-pack abs, it's not an indicative of confidence at all.
So maybe it's like even like a mask that some people might use if they're like not confident, they just get the abs. So maybe they think that when they get the abs, they will become more confident. But if you don't,
I wouldn't say it's a mask.
No,
I wouldn't say it's a mask, but maybe what I would say is that they may be looking for the wrong goal. Like maybe their goal is, okay, let's get the six-pack abs so that I can get the confidence. But it's not the six-pack abs that's gonna get you the confidence. No, it's like the goal. Maybe they don't even know that they want to get it because they want to get the confidence. So
it's kind of like subconscious wanting of confidence through the apps.
Well, we all want that, no? We all want to be us, and men, we all want to get women for sure. So I personally think it's important to have a strong body, but that again, outside of the aesthetics, no, strong body, so as a way to get shit done, shit that is important for you.
Yeah, you have more endurance, you have more strength, yeah, and you can also do simple work tasks in a more productive way, I guess.
Yeah, and you can do multiple things. So as part of a strategy, for example, I may have to get a job in something that I don't want to do. If I don't have a strong body, if I don't have the energy, the vitality within me, so that I can first of all have my routines and my practices in the morning to make a business, and then to work 8 hours, and then to go back home and still be a nice man to my girlfriend or to my friends or to my family. Life takes energy. Being yourself takes energy. Fighting against vices and addiction takes energy. Everything that is worth doing takes energy. Without having a strong body, it is very difficult. I believe that it's very complicated to have the resilience and the intensity that is needed to get that persistent and consistent action that is needed to progress in anything that is important for me, for you, for whoever. I think, well,
It all starts with the body.
I believe so.
Yeah, I also believe that. I'm very body oriented, and at some point I was even maybe not showing that so much because I was like in this self-development circles where it's more like, spiritual and mental, and often the body is not seen as something high or good. But actually I feel that body is the most important thing because it all starts here. That's the foundation. And body is not only like a taxi for your brain to get you from meeting A to meeting B and just get your brain to places. It's whole being in itself.
Yeah, yeah, but that was very well said. It's a whole being. In fact, I don't think I think that it's you said it all starts with the body, and I would like to say yes, but to add into that, I don't think that the body and the mind are different. I think that we're one. Obviously, not obviously. It's not obvious.
Of
It's
course, in philosophy, there are different approaches. Some say like you have a body, you have the mind. Some say you only have the body, and the body is like physical, producing the thoughts and things that you consider as the mind. Some philosophies say that you only have the mind, and you kind of like imagine that you have a body. So there are many
right,
different
but
approaches.
how we feel, it's literally biochemistry. How we feel, like the emotions that we generate, are literally biochemistry. So it's the body. Because of the emotions that generates our state, and our state, through our state, and obviously our beliefs, but through our state, we see the world, we perceive. And because of how we perceive from one state or from another, we choose one thing or another. And we don't always get to see all the choices that we can make if we are in a narrow state. So once you have a strong body and you take care of yourself, and you are someone who's positive, optimistic, someone who, whenever he's sad or depressed, sometimes it's not easy. Life doesn't always anything, so it's not always easy. But when we have a healthy body and a healthy state of mind, then it's almost like life happens a bit more effortlessly. And what doesn't, and the things that take effort, we have the energy for that, and the needed mindset for it. So does it start with the body? I don't know where the beginning is or not, but I think that it's easier to start with the body because it's the outside. Like, it's easier for me to do some running than it is to do some
Meditation.
for example.
Yeah.
For example, even though I don't know to what extent medication is mental or
There are different ways of meditation. Even for me, I feel that dancing is the best meditation.
I love
if I go
dancing.
into the dancing flow and just improvise, this is even working better for me because I'm very body focused. And
Yeah.
actually, if I had to choose between like body and mind, I would say that we only have the body. I would be in that camp who says that we only have the body, and all the thoughts, they are like some kind of processes in the brain, and emotions also like some kind of chemistry happening and whatever. So yeah, I would be also maybe similar to you, choosing that we only have the body. There's no like separate mind.
I'm not saying that we only have the body.
Yeah.
This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we definitely have a body. Yeah. And if we have a mind, which I also believe we have a mind that is on a different plane. I don't know how to say it. Like, although we have it, I believe that they're not different. I believe that you take someone and you can probably guess by his physical So you can guess how someone's character may be. I think that would be part of the mind, how someone's character may be by their body. You can probably you can probably predict someone's character by their body. And you can probably, and it's both ways. It's both ways. Like you can predict someone's character by their body, and you can possibly predict someone's body by their character. You know what I mean?
True.
And but not body in terms of, again, we're not talking about the six-pack abs. I'm talking about the physical traits. You know, like are they strong or not? How do they think? I make this joke a lot of the times, but whenever I see someone with a purple hair, I always say, I know who they vote. I make that joke. And
I used to have red and purple hair for quite a long time.
Well, I know who you vote. But what I'm saying is, it's easy to see from some, not easy, but it's not hard from physical traits to think about or to predict how someone else thinks. So I don't think it's too crazy. I don't think they're too different in this way.
Yeah, so coming back to the body and some routines, you mentioned you have some kind of things that you do in the morning. Give me the list. So you have is it like a set of things that you do, or is it always different?
It's a set of things. It's a set of things. I wake up. People are not ready to hear this, but I wake up between 4:30 and 5.
Okay, I would have said that maybe you possibly are part of the 5 a.m. club, like many people, well, like, you know, this high achievers type. It's like 5 a.m. Yeah.
5 a.m. requires a 9 p.m. bedtime. Huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm always like when people start saying, wake up at 5 a.m. I always want to ask, okay, when do you go to bed?
Yeah.
Because
before 10, me personally, before 10, and it's not always possible. It's not always possible. I personally always have late night conversations, or
Barcelona lifestyle is more like late night.
Yes, like my family has dinner at 10.
Oh my god.
I haven't had dinner with them in maybe 4 years.
Wow.
Maybe I'm lying, but they have to come to my world.
You can have lunch, maybe.
Yes, I can have lunch or an early dinner. But I wake up between 4:30 and 5. And just recently, I've been getting into breathwork. So that's for the last 3 months. I have a very strict breathworking practice. And
there are also many options for that. Is it like through the nose or through the mouth, or more like, or is it like, you know? Because I have a friend who's like a breathwork coach, and he's like against the.
What's his name?
Piotr.
Piotr
Shipyell, yeah. He was also in the 3rd episode of my podcast. And I know that he's mostly doing like the nasal breathing and more like breath awareness and also breath holds. And, you know, there are some schools of breath work where they do like, and this is actually like irritating your nervous system. It's irritating you. It's not putting you into a calm state. It's getting you maybe even like a little bit fainty. So what is your style?
My style is a powerful breath work. I'm not trying to be calm. Okay.
So you want to wake up?
So I wake up. And I think that the mouth is for eating, and the nose is for breathing. I agree with your friend Piotr, or Peter, or whatever. Piotr. I agree with him. I think the mouth is for eating. So I'm very aware of. I do it through the nose, but basically what I do is I do different positions. Sometimes you can see them on my Instagram. Different positions, like a handstand, for example.
Oh, so handstand 4:30 in the morning. You go into a handstand and start breathing.
First of all, I stretch. I stretch well. I prepare my body, and I give my body the space that it needs to begin the discipline. And then when I feel like my body is ready, my tendons are stretched, neck, my whole body is a bit stretched, then I begin. And there's like a set of there's a set of postures, like static postures. And then from those static postures, kind of like yoga, then I begin my breath work. And it goes into, so the way I do it is through the nose. It's called power breath work. A mentor of mine has actually developed this kind of breathing and the different postures. Ish is his name. He calls this physio-energetic alchemy. If anyone wants to look into it.
Physio-energetic alchemy.
Yeah, alquimia physio-energetica. And so we take the body, and in these postures, with diaphragm, do. And so the idea here is to use the diaphragm and the abdominal muscles to get in air in and out. Yeah. Now this moves my energy in a very interesting way. It kind of it just gets me ready for my day.
Do you also focus on like the chakras or something? Okay, trying to get the breath from the lower root and sacred chakras up to the head, or
Not
no?
me.
No.
Not me. Not me. When I say that it moves my energy, I mean that after doing that, I feel like there's a fire inside of me. I feel like, and plus when I do it, I look at myself in the mirror, and
So it's also like mirror work.
yeah, it's
in a
mirror
way.
work, and I can see that I'm bringing up that warrior. That's what it is. I look at myself and I'm breathing. And when I'm doing that and I see my body and I see how I look and how my muscles look in that mirror, and then it's 4:30, and then there's a discipline there. None of what I'm doing is easy. Like just the breath work alone, if I asked someone who has never done it to do it, they wouldn't be able to hold the postures, they wouldn't be able to do it for the repetitions that I do it. Everything is learned.
And there are many things to focus on, the posture and also the breath work, and so it's requires strength.
Yes, it requires having a strong body for sure. And then I'm probably done between 6:30 around that time.
So the breath work stuff takes 1.5 hours.
It takes me 1 hour.
Wow.
It takes me 1 hour.
It's a full exercise routine.
It's a full exercise routine. Yeah, it takes me 1 hour. I would like to say that I meditate, but I'm legit struggling. I don't like the word legit, but I'm struggling because I like to do things. For me, sitting still, even though it is important for me.
But meditation has so many forms. So like Joe Dispenza has like the walking meditation, and like I said, it can be just sitting still or even maybe doing things in a meditative way. So you really focus on your attention and even washing the dishes in a way that is like you're not focusing on anything else, but you're like so fully present. You do it very slowly. There can also be meditation. For me, I don't like the idea of just sitting still. And for me, like I said, dance.
Yeah.
That's for me the best thing. This gets me out of my mind because I get stuck in the mind a lot. I get into overthinking patterns. But when I'm like in the body, I feel that this is the best meditation for me. This is when the energy starts
So
flowing.
how do you do it?
I just put on some music, and yeah, it even has like lyrics and words usually. And I just flow and dance and just improvise.
Yeah, I like that. Breaking the rules.
Yeah.
I like
okay,
that.
I also do this. I had a Mind Valley app, so usually in the morning I also open the Mind Valley app and I do like some random meditation from there. Just when I'm still like maybe lying in bed or sitting in bed. So I'm allowing myself to start waking up slowly. But I also love the dance part.
I love dancing. I love dancing. I think that dancing is like my way of bringing together the more masculine and the more feminine within me. It's like
and you can also dance in many different ways. So there's also this practice called 5 rhythms dance. I studied this a little bit. I can even like instruct people a little bit. So it's not like ecstatic dance, but it's similar. So in 5 rhythms, there are 5 different moods that you dance through, 5 different kind of music. So it starts with the feminine flow. It's more like this easy, flowy. Then the second rhythm is staccato. That's the masculine energy. And then the third one is chaos. So everything comes together. It's very high speed, like crazy kind of music, like jungles, whatever, wild rhythms. After chaos, we come back to the fourth rhythm, which is like lyrical. So it's again, there's more like melody, more like flowiness. And the last fifth rhythm is kind of stillness. So maybe some piano sounds, some nature sounds, just calming down again. So it's going on a journey, feminine, masculine, chaos, lyrical, and then back to stillness.
Yeah.
And that's also like in music, there can be different moods, different energies to play with. So some days I want to maybe really express some kind of deep sadness, some kind of feeling. And listen to the sad music and allow even the tears to come, allow the emotion to go through my body and just release it. Then it's out there. Then it's no longer mine.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just want to I listen to a lot of like warrior music, like going to war, that kind of because I like the strong music. I'm very connected to the masculine energy in a way.
Yeah.
But it's whatever comes. You can use different music.
Yeah.
Based on the effect that you want to have and based on the state you are currently in.
How powerful is music?
Very.
It's insane that you can actually like that someone made a melody sometimes like with just like have you ever heard those hand pans?
Yeah.
I love handpan. I use it for workout. I use it for studying. I use it for, I was going to say meditation, but I use it for the breath work. I use it for cleaning dishes. I will use it for, I love handpan. And that someone has actually the ability to, through handpan or techno, I love techno as well, you know, to create some emotions and some movement within me. I love it. I love it. I've never gotten interested in like making music, but I have such a love for that. I'm not gonna call it magic.
Magic. Yeah.
I just look. I'm not a good dancer, but I love moving. I love like doing like even when I'm walking in the streets, with or without music. I love choosing based on how I feel, how I move. You know, for a long time I've been walking with my hands in my pocket and then just there and then just listening to music. And now I'm thinking, look, I get to participate in life. I get to be here. I get to choose. As I was coming here, I started talking and posted on Instagram. I started talking to a grandma, you know, who was wearing like a plastic bag on her head. And that was a beautiful interaction that I had. And some days ago, I talked to another grandma who was actually, I was in a park with a girl and we were just playing and then we were swinging each other. And then this grandma, it's actually my girlfriend, she's gonna kill me if I don't say this. But she was there, the grandma, in her wheelchair, and I told her, "Do you want me to swing you?"
Oh.
And then from that small, you know, funny interaction, she invited us for dinner and life, like it's
So
interesting.
did you swing the grandmother?
Did I what?
Did you swing the grandmother?
No.
But took her out of the wheelchair because that's why you train at the gym, right?
That's why I
to
trained
be
in the
able to
gym.
lift the grandmother to the wheelchair and put them in the swing, and you know.
Yeah, I don't train to push a grandma, but I do cultivate a strong body so that I have the courage and the love so that I can actually approach someone and have a humor and participate with them. No?
Yeah,
Yesterday, for example, I was in the 2 days ago, I was in the gym and there was this guy, he was blind. He was blind. Hector was his name.
Wow.
And he was blind and he was using the stick in the gym. And I
How
told
does
him,
he even know what kind of weight to use? It's like,
well, he was actually in the wardrobe. No, not the wardrobe, the changing room.
yeah.
Yeah. And I made a joke. I told him, it seems like you know this place better than I do. So we start laughing. All of a sudden I said he's got like a shoelace, like an untied shoe. And so I laughed at that. I'm like, oh yeah, but your stick doesn't tell you that your shoe is unlaced. And so we started talking, we're joking about the fact that he's blind, but with a lovingly way. He ended up inviting me to doing an open water swim this summer, on June 22nd.
So he's also like swimming in
He's
open water.
swimming. This guy
No
literally,
excuses.
no excuses. This guy literally puts like a rope on his leg and then attaches it to someone else, and they both go together in the open water.
Wow.
That's what he does. No excuses.
Yeah, when I was still running marathons, I was also seeing like blind people running, but they had like a guide. So they were like also attached by a rope to somebody else and they were running together. So if somebody healthy person is saying that, oh my God, I can't do the marathon, like,
Yeah.
the blind people are doing that.
Yeah.
The people in wheelchairs are pushing themselves throughout the race. It's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. I went to something called an ocean man, which is like it's a race in the water. It's
open water.
It's an open
I
water
have a
race.
female friend from Estonia who has also done that.
Yeah. I'm doing one in 50 days. That's the one that I was talking.
So the countdown has started now. It's like 50 days.
Yes, it's a bit less than 50 days. In fact, it's actually 50 days.
Are you counting?
I'm counting for sure. I'm counting for sure. I want to get done with it. But long story short, I went and I was looking at a friend competing, Jack, and then this guy all of a sudden came to the beach. He was a kid and finished swimming. And when he came to the beach, instead of like standing up and running to the goal or to the end, he started like using his arms, like he was kind of like crawling in the sea to get to the beach. And I was like, why doesn't he stand up? And then I looked and he couldn't use his legs.
Wow.
He couldn't use his legs. But that guy had just swum, I think it was like 1 or 2 kilometers. He had just swum 1 kilometer with no legs, with the legs hanging. He had nothing holding his legs and still he swam that. Now, just like you say, you gotta have more excuses than desires, no, or strength.
Depends like on how much you want something. Either you find an excuse or you find an opportunity.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, that how much you want it has to be stronger than the I need to stop. for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, nowadays I'm not doing competitive sport for now, but maybe, in a few years, and I'm still like thinking about maybe I will be this grandmother who's running at 70 or 80 years old. I used to run for 10 years and now I'm just been in bodybuilding, but I'm not competing this year.
What are you doing right now in terms of training?
Gym 4 times a week and tiny bit of running like twice a week, 5 kilometers. But I'm lifting very hard stuff, heavy stuff in the gym. Because my coach is really like also killing me a lot.
With
And-
what intention are you training that hard now?
To get stronger and maybe also compete someday again.
In bodybuilding, bikini.
Yeah, bodybuilding, bikini fitness.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I told him that okay, this year I'm not competing. Otherwise, I would already be like on diet to compete in October. I was like, okay, no, my body doesn't want to do it this year yet, but still, I'm the strongest ever. So I'm like pushing the boundaries. Just this week, even a few days ago, I got like a new hip thrust record. I'm like
How much?
182.5.
That is quite crazy. It hurts me so much in the pelvis.
Yeah, it's.
I can't.
Yeah,
I
it
don't like
is heavy. So it was like the hip thrust machine, not like the barbell, because this one is a little bit softer, but it's still like you can really feel that, and you can even have bruises from the hip
Oh, yeah.
thrust. So I used to have bruises at some point as well from the hip thrust. But yeah, when he was telling me that, oh yeah, you're actually close to 200, I was like, no, I'm not. I just had like 170 something.
Who was he? Your coach?
Henry.
Henry.
I think maybe you know him, Henry Vidal.
Henry Vidal, yeah, I know
Yeah,
him.
the Argentinian guy.
Yeah.
So he's also like, in Barcelona, everybody knows everybody. So, and also when I was speaking myself a coach, I was like, okay, I want somebody who is kind of like speaking my language in that way that he's like, oh, high performance. I'm like, yeah, I want a high performance. I don't want to have this, this cuddly little nice cute workout. I'm like, no, I'm an advanced lifter, and I want somebody who sees me this way. That okay, you're like high performance competitor, you are advanced, and you can do the heavy stuff. And I'm allowing him to torture me. So I'm giving somebody a permission to make life hard for me.
Yeah, to expect.
Yeah.
I think everyone benefits from a coach.
Yeah.
I think even Henry, he would benefit from a coach.
I guess he actually has his own coach as well. Anyway,
Does he?
so, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I would like to have my own coach. I've been coaching people and training people. I still do now. Get paid for it as well. But I would like myself to have someone who's.
It's always like,
me.
especially even if you are like this high level athlete, it's always nice to have somebody who's like even in some ways more advanced than you, like an extra pair of eyes and extra brain to think for you. Not for you, but think with you and discuss some stuff.
Yeah.
And go into like even like life issues maybe, and some emotional sufferings that come with training and come with life, and that actually also have like impact on the training.
Yeah.
Because we are holistic beings. If you have some trouble in your life, it will also have an impact on the training, because maybe you're like not feeling so good. For me, I might go into this emotional eating pattern if I'm not feeling so good. So it's all connected, I would say.
What do you mean by holistic being?
I mean that there are different parts for us. Holistic. So I'm also a holobody coach, certified by Mind Ballet.
What?
Holobody. Body. So holistic body kind of.
Okay.
So in this approach, we also talk about the mental health. We talk about the emotions. We talk about body talk, being kinder, really communicating with your body, talking to your body, reflection in the mirror, writing letters to your body even sometimes. And kind of like, I also had a client at some point. She came to me to focus on her nutrition and exercise to get better. But at some point, we didn't talk about her walking and exercise. We were talking about her job.
Yeah.
Because this was like having an impact on her.
I've had the same experience.
Yeah. And that's what I mean by holistic. There are different parts of your life, like the relationships, the career, business goals, your own business if you have it, all the mental things that's just coming together. And if one area of your life is kind of, it has an impact on the whole. It has impact on the other areas as well. So because everything is connected, that's the holistic view.
Yeah, I've also experienced that. So I have this. I've also experienced that sometimes it's lack of knowledge as well. And that's why I believe a coach is good for everyone. I myself, as someone who's coaching, I benefit the most by having someone who's ahead of me, like a mentor, whether it's in business or whether it's in that spirituality and body. I like having mentors because then I can grow and then I can pass knowledge as well.
Yeah.
I invest a lot of money in that. But what I'm trying to say here is that I'm losing a little bit the string for a second. Yes, I've experienced sometimes this lack of knowledge. Some time ago, when I was training for the Ironman, I was training more than one time a day. I was eating a lot and I was sleeping well, but during some time I could not finish my workouts and I stopped sleeping well. And then I was having some crazy cravings, and so I would just devour Ben and Jerry's. I'm talking like the whole pint. And one time I had them, and I used to do that maybe once a month or something. But one time I wanted to have it twice a week. And that second time came only like the day after or 2 days later. And it never happens where it's to me where it's like, okay, I need that much sugar right now. It's like, why do I have these cravings? And so I went to the supplement store and I told the guy, hey, look, I'm having crazy cravings. I'm eating a lot. I'm not getting any weight, but I'm not finishing my workouts and I'm not sleeping well. What is happening to me? And so he told, and I couldn't train. I just didn't want to train. I was so lazy. And he said, oh, are you taking essential
Magnesium?
amino acids?
Magnesium? No.
Well, he said,
amino acids, okay.
I think magnesium would also
Yeah.
help. But he said, are you taking essential amino acids? I was like, what's
For
that?
recovery. Yeah.
And he gave me those, said, take one scoop of this, come back and let me know how it feels. Come back in a couple of weeks and let me know. I took one scoop of those when I got home because I just finished a workout. Took one scoop of those. I wanted to go back to working out instantly. Like that feeling of that's how recovered I am. And then it killed my cravings. It boosted my sleep again. And so that was just lack of knowledge. I had no idea that essential amino acids were going to help my recovery, even though I wasn't weightlifting that much. But they helped me tremendously, removed my cravings, and I just kept progressing from there. So having someone who's above, like Henry, or anyone who's above in things that are important for us.
Yeah, I also know like a lot myself, but I still like to have somebody who's kind of also pushing me. At some point, I also had coaches before, also in Estonia, and my coach in Estonia, he had people who were like winning the world championships, that kind of level. And at some point, I was without a coach for a year because I just needed a break and I was just doing everything by myself. And then I felt, okay, yeah, I'm kind of like stuck. I'm stagnating. I'm not progressing. Yes, I know a lot. I also coach people myself, but I still feel like I need somebody who has like another pair of eyes, another opinion.
Yeah.
Even I know a lot, even if I make the decision, but I also like choose what kind of person to let into my life to tell me like what to do.
Yeah. And to me, ChatGPT is not enough. Like
Oh my God.
ChatGPT is a great coach for me in terms of like it gives me the plans and everything, but doesn't have that level of accountability or the sometimes it's just the
We also need
confidence.
the human connection.
I believe so.
Yeah. So do you make your plans with ChatGPT?
A bit. I get
Okay.
guidance. So, for example, for this competition I have the last 50 days, I've definitely said, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to go. 10 kilometers. This is how much I'm swimming right now, how much I'm willing to swim. And I give it the variables that I know I have to give it. And please give me a recommendation. And then from that, I've structured my plan. So it's been very useful because I had no idea on swimming. No idea. So, but still, right now, I'm bored.
Because it's not a human. It's kind of like a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like someone who messaged me today and it was like, Arnau, how's your workout?
Yeah.
How is it doing? How's it progressing? Oh, I'm a bit bored. Okay, try going to the sea. Okay, try doing this. Try going to a swimming pool. Rest for a week. It's gonna be fine. Now, I don't know, like someone who is just there.
Yeah, because
that's
as
fun.
humans, we actually want the human connection. We want to talk to humans. And like I said to somebody maybe yesterday, I don't want to read a book that is written by AI. Even, very often you see all this advertising. It's like, oh, write a book with AI in 2 minutes and then sell it. And it's like, cool business idea. But I'm like, I don't want to read a book that you wrote with AI in 2 minutes. It's like, it's boring.
I've seen zero ads like that, but I understand that you just having written a book probably.
So maybe that's why I'm like seeing all that, and I'm seeing like all these people who are like making money with AI, and it's so easy. You write books in 1 hour or less, and and you make money, and you sell that, and you make courses. I'm like, and I don't want to make AI videos I want to make videos with real people. I don't want to have this AI now talking to me. I want to have like a real person talking to
Me
me
too.
with real experiences. And that's why I'm also maybe stepping into long format content like this kind of podcast videos, and less into Instagram 5-second dance, woohoo, yeah, or like 3 tips to follow. Like, and I was doing that. It was fun for a moment, but I'm also feeling a bit about you make a video like pointing and then you put the text when you point. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I've had this dilemma for some time, especially as creators, especially as people that
You want to have fun as well.
you want
It
to
has
have.
to be
I want to have fun.
enjoyable for you, not just the trends. Because everybody's doing like this, you also have to do like
Yeah. Obviously, there is rules to the game. So it is true that people are losing their ability to pay attention. Right? There's so many things trying to catch each other's attention that it's hard to grab someone's attention.
So it has to be hook always.
Yes, you
Yeah.
have to hook them right at the beginning. But there's ways of doing that, and there's also the intention with which that is done. I think that also affects how it's done.
Authenticity.
Yeah, authenticity. Well, authenticity to me, and that's where I wanted to get into the authenticity part. To me, the audience comes last. There's I learned from Rick Rubin. The audience comes last. I always think about what do I want to do? What do I want to create? Let's make it the best thing I can make it. And then once I've done that and I've made a piece of art like that little painting with a cat that you have there, and you've made it your way, you've made it almost with the intention of just making it for you or for God or for whatever, then I can start thinking, how do I want to give it to the audience? But the audience comes last. I want to make that piece of art first. That's where the authenticity and the creativity come in.
Yeah.
But there's rules, obviously. There's rules before I make it, and then I'm thinking, okay, now I need to. If I want to help someone, I need to play by the rules. So that's why the clips are useful, so they can see, okay, am I gonna get value from this podcast? Because if this is like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, how many people are gonna watch the whole thing? I don't know, but maybe they get some value from like small bits. Why not just give them those small bits so they can see, and then they can make a decision on whether they want to watch the entire thing. There's rules.
Yeah, I usually use AI also to make the small clips. I'm a little bit behind. I'm like, I have 14, 15 episodes out right now, and I've made small clips about maybe the first 5. And I haven't even posted all of them because it takes time to get all these shorter clips.
Yeah, I would say that I've used CapCut until now. I've had some funny anecdotes with CapCut lately, but I've used CapCut, and then there's like this option that you just go like, okay, turn long into short, bah, instantly make some nice shorts, and it adjusts them, boom, to what platform you're going to be posting them, which I find insane. I find insane, easy. I'm not putting any effort into that. I just put effort into this.
Yeah.
Why? I would love to have someone making content for me, helping me out with that.
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
AI can do that for you.
AI can do that. AI can do that. But AI can do a bit of that.
AI can do find the key moments from a long episode and just transcribe and make it look nice. I've been testing different tools. I was looking for the one that I want, and possibly I will have a subscription with Kuoso or whatever. It used to be video, now it's called Kuoso. That I also read and CapCut and whatever, many things. So I was just checking different style Opus clips, and now I'm like, I guess I found the one that I like, and I'm about to get the subscription. But I'm also like, okay, and I was actually discussing with ChatGPT about my needs. It's like, okay, if I take this subscription and this gives me like only that many hours per every month to transcribe, and if that other thing gives me this many hours, and I have these podcasts that are so long, what is the best option for me? So I was discussing with AI, ChatGPT, about the different pricing and stuff. Because if you have this amount of content that I have, you will have to go into the paid options already.
Yeah. I understand.
Because the 3 months they just run out so fast. I'm like, only 1 hour of transcription.
Yeah.
It's like one episode maybe, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I have multiple Google accounts. I can just log out and log in with a different one, but
Yeah,
still,
but you're doing a good job. That's why you have so much content right now.
I'm in this
you're-
growth phase. I'm like skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's important for you.
Yeah.
You're
I'm doing it with passion. I love it. I'm focusing a lot on this because I also want to get to this magical number 2021. So it's kind of like some threshold. After this, it should be getting easy. So that we are recording now, that's 18. So we're getting close to 20.
Yeah.
This magical number. Because many people don't get past this number. And if you get past this, it's, I don't know, the algorithm loves you or something.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. I found out, but I'm like, now I have this goal 2021 and just get to that point and see what happens. And
I just recently learned from a book called the Bhagavad Gita. Not sure. Have you ever heard about it?
This
The
old
yogic
one.
text. Yeah. And in the book I learned, from that book I took the quote, we have no right to the result. We only have the right to the action. So I have no idea if after that 2021st podcast.
But I'm still doing the action.
But you gotta get the action done.
With optimism,
and that
the
is
hope.
the only thing that we have the right to. And I would say responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Okay, coming back to some kind of transformations and shifts in life, if there are like any blocks on the way, how do you handle this? And people that you help, how do you help people with the blocks and limits and limiting beliefs, all the stories, all the excuses, all that? I can't, I haven't, I don't have time, or, everybody has excuses. How do you handle these things?
I don't have the energy for that. Me personally, I don't have the energy for people that get into that. I'm not that kind of coach where I'm getting into limiting beliefs, this and that. I tell people, you are an adult. You're not a kid. You're an adult. Given that you're an adult, you have the right and the responsibility to make decisions that get you close to the things that are important for you. If they are important for you. If they are important for you, you are an adult. And those decisions, then they're not a decision if you don't stick to them. Now, a decision, it's not something you don't need to know how you're going to get there. Like I have decided that I'm going to have a gym, and I have decided that I'm going to finish an open water race. You make decisions. Or I've decided that I'm going to find mentors in whatever field, but I have no idea how I'm going to get there. It's okay. It's okay not to know how, but the decision has been made. Now, why don't get into like limiting beliefs, things like that? I think that obviously we all have limiting beliefs. Obviously, they all have to be addressed. I haven't had like success in working with myself when it comes to like limiting beliefs and reframing them, and it doesn't work for me. For me, what works is knowing, okay, what is important for me, make a decision, or make a goal and work towards it. And then you will find things, you evaluate, you change, you make the decisions that have to be made, and you just keep moving forward. That's what I feel.
So kind of the limiting beliefs, the excuses, they just fall off?
They don't fall off. They don't fall off. No, more, I would say like you step up to it. You step up to becoming the person that is needed, that you need to become with your action. I don't think that you can, I don't know who I learned it from. I think it was Robin Sharma says, you can't, and he says it from someone else, but he says, you can't think your way into acting, but you can act your way into thinking, or something like this.
So it's about action. Limiting beliefs, these are like the mindset stuff. So you kind of bypass the limiting beliefs and the negative mindset by doing actions.
Well, the negative beliefs come up. Okay.
So these are also limiting.
Beliefs, I meant limiting, not negative. Beliefs come up. Paradigms, limitations, fears, doubts, procrastinate, those things come up. I believe they come up, and sometimes they're hidden. And it's not that I bypass them, but I feel like once you make a decision and you start working towards it, what is experienced while we are working towards that achievement what is experienced is never what I expected. Like I never, I may want to say, quick example. I know that I'm bringing this into the competition, but it's very recent. I just recently I decided that I was going to swim for the first time 6 kilometers, and the first time that I went to I've done a bit more now, but the first time that I decided I was going to do 6 kilometers straight, I prepared. I woke up. I had a routine. I had a breakfast. I was preparing for the moment, expecting that I would be tired, like physically. So I slept well, whatever. But what I experienced in the water was not me being tired. I was just feeling mentally very stressed that day. That is not what I expected, right? And so what I had to work on in the water at that time, it wasn't that I was, thinking, oh, I'm tired physically, but that I had some fear and I had some doubts about other things that was happening at the time for me. Now, what is experienced and the journey is never what is expected, and that presents one of the first enemies of man, which is fear. It comes in different ways, but because the expectation is wrong, then we're like, oh, what is this? It's too hot in the sauna, or it's too hard to start a business, or it's too hard to get people for a podcast. And maybe you were thinking that the hard thing was going to be to make 20 podcasts, but it's not making 20 podcasts that is difficult, but rather that you're scared of what other people think, or that your family all of a sudden doesn't support you, or that your people don't want to do podcasts with you, and it's something else. And so there may be negative beliefs around that, limiting beliefs around that. Oh, people don't want to do podcasts with me. What? You're an adult. Make a decision. You said you wanted to do 20 podcasts. Get them done. Doesn't matter. Just get them done.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But what I mean is just stick to your decisions and make the decisions that are needed. We are adults. Not that I don't believe, but I don't get into limiting beliefs, inner child shit, and all of those things. I think
Just do it.
But not from this point of view of the everything is possible, just do it. I'm saying, look, if it's important for you, take responsibility and make the decisions that are needed so that you give yourself a chance of getting it from a place of love, not just do it, from a place of love, from a place of adventure, from a place for adventure, like we are from a place of, even though it's hard and there's fear, acknowledging these enemies and being like, just met him once again, I'm scared again. It's okay. I am the one that is the most interested in going through that fear, in getting this done, and getting something out. I'm the most interested. I'm just curious. What happens if I actually get the job done? What happens if I actually do it anyways? What happens if I actually become that person that sticks to his decisions every single time? And when you do it from a place of adventure, then I personally find a lot of power in that. And then I kind of like bypass these limiting beliefs, but because I don't even think about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So does it also mean that the people that you like to work with would be somebody who's like ready to take responsibility, kind of like high performers? They're like, yeah, like tell me whatever, I'm just gonna go and do it. Not like, somebody who's like whining and complaining and like finding excuses.
I think that I am not selective like that. Not that I don't mind. I want to work with anyone that I can give some knowledge to and that I can help improve and improving their discipline. I'm doing things in a persistent and consistent manner. And so the people that I want to work with, look, if they complain, they need to take responsibility. If they need, we all need to take responsibility on some things. Some things. I'm just passing on some knowledge while I make sure that I am the best example that I can be. That's just what I do. And I'm trying to do it in different ways. Mentorships right now, workshops. I've done 2 workshops, one of them with Bram as well, more calming, video, LinkedIn, whatever. As I'm learning, I'm like, oh, here you go.
So just being the example, and if people want to follow your example, they will do that, but you're not gonna hold their hand and like, okay, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah. You're not
I
gonna be that person.
I do hold people's hands
Yeah,
through the
but
journey, but not from that place.
Yeah.
But from a place of empowerment. You know, from a place of yeah, it is literally in my best interest to wake up at that time, to do that practice, to the breath work, to get the trainings done, to come here. It is in my best interest. Why not? Why not? I have decided so. I feel like there's, for me personally, I get much more power from that, and then from seeing things from a curiosity and adventure, and from a, I don't know, I don't even know how.
Not
how to
acting from the
describe.
fear, but acting from curiosity, excitement, adventure.
Well, fear. I don't know when fear has been helping me lately, especially in the kind of comfort that we live in. We're not gonna die. We're not gonna die. So
Fear is kind of pointless.
not pointless.
Not pointless, okay.
No, 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 no. Fear is a teacher. Okay, fear is a teacher. Fear, and there's other enemies, there's other challenges. They prepare us for the next level. So when you get to 20, then it's going to be 100. But if you never got to 20 podcasts, you would never get to 100.
Yeah.
Now, the fear that you have faced and the challenge that you have faced in the journey prepares you and makes you responsible for the next. So these are things that have to be honored. Like these feelings, these beliefs, these fears, doubts, procrastination, they have to be honored. There's a place for them. They're absolutely necessary. And I believe that they also make a distinction. They not only, well, what they do is they separate the one that is willing to do the work and the one that is willing to go through it and meet the fear and the enemy to the face, and the one that when meets it decides to give up. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference. And my goal, no, what I love is to get someone's hand who is there meeting fear and really not knowing like what to do with it and how to interact with it, and be like, hey, fear, this is Arnau or this is whoever, please meet each other, become friends. You're gonna be helping each other on from right now, and you're not gonna love when you meet each other. It's not gonna be fun, but I promise you that it's gonna be the best teacher ever. So they're not pointless, but it's not a good assessment to make decisions out of fear or out of ambition. I would even go to say, like both can lead to suffering.
Ambition can lead to suffering.
It depends where it comes from, no?
If it's really coming from your heart and you really want to do that, then as well, or if it's coming from external stuff, then it can lead to suffering.
Yeah, but when you've met Bram, you've met Abdel, these people, when they act the most, when there's more power behind them, there's no ambition, but there's a lot of detachment from it. Like they would do it anyways. I think that doing things with, I don't care about the result, I'm just going to do it in the best of my ability. I think that is more powerful than the ambition or the expectation to a certain result. I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
They just want the big thing, but they don't care if they succeed. They just want the journey, maybe, the process, and just to experience what it feels like to start building towards that kind of goal.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Elon Musk, for example. Obviously he wants to like build civilization in Mars. I believe that's what he wants. I'm not sure, but he's not thinking about that. He's thinking step by step. What can we get done today? Like what has to be done? Recycling a rocket ship, bringing it back, building that arm, doing like he's focusing on the small things, and he has a lot of rockets that fail. He doesn't care. He sends another one, gives another try, sends another one, sends another one, and they fail. And when they fail, he celebrates just as much as when they go well.
He's doing something.
Yeah, he's doing something. He's doing something. But that detachment from the result, like, okay, I just want to learn. I just want to see how I can get there. Let's see if we can get there. And if it goes well, phenomenal, no celebration. If it goes bad, phenomenal, no celebration. You never know. The ambition leads us to not getting it done, and
Yeah, I
then
think it's also like, yeah, maybe in Google, but also in Mind Valley, they even like set these very big, crazy goals, even if they know that, okay, we can't achieve it anyway. But when you try to just grow towards that
yeah,
goal, you will anyway grow and you
yeah,
will get better and improve in many, many ways. So they intentionally set goals that are like harder to achieve just to see what happens to them in this process. So that's why I also went into bodybuilding 5 years ago. I switched from long distance running after 10 years of marathons. I was just like, okay, I want to do something harder
wow,
because I wanted to. It wasn't because of the 3 minutes on the stage, and I didn't win any competitions in bodybuilding. But I wanted to see what happens to me in this journey, what kind of person I become, like
yeah.
mentally, physically. I wanted to see the maximum strength. I wanted to no longer fit into my favorite clothes because the muscles just don't fit. Yeah, nowadays I have these problems like, the biceps doesn't fit. The back is too wide because of all the lats training. And some pants don't fit because the glutes have grown so much. But it's not like a nice problem to have. It's a nice version of me to have.
Or all
So
of a sudden you're spending so much money on food and
yeah,
supplements and that's also, and so there's no, you better be making some money to feed it. Eating for bodybuilding and eating for
yeah.
sports and supplementation and taking care, maybe a massage here and there.
Oh yeah.
It takes
But it's also like I love to be in that process.
I love it.
I love to be in that community and that kind of a stage where I'm like always building towards something. And just trying to find out, okay, what else can my body do? And now I'm like not in the best shape, but I'm strength wise, I'm in the highest strength ever. So it's still I'm finding out new things. Like I said, I just had this hip thrust record this week. I'm like, ooh, okay, what's next? So it's so cool to see what my mind is capable of, what my body, okay, maybe we only have mind, body, whatever, but what I'm capable of and what kind of person I become during this process. Yeah, as a bodybuilder, I also had this very lonely, sad moments, like, 1 month before competition, you're like so trained, you're in this big deficit. It's in the evening, I was just sitting on the sofa, I was like, I can't even lift my
Yeah.
arm. I'm so empty.
Yeah.
Because you get so lean, the fat percentage is going down. And it's like, oh my God. So you get to this point where you're like, so empty.
Yeah.
But it's still part of the experience. And okay, what do you do in this place of emptiness? Do you go and buy yourself an ice cream and you ruin everything? Not everything, but or like you can't ruin everything. You can't ruin months of work like with just one tub of ice cream.
But I get what you mean.
Yeah,
You're breaking your values there.
yeah,
And that hurts.
yeah. It hurts a lot.
That hurts.
So, but it's also like a place of growth.
Yeah.
Just seeing what you become when you are in this state.
Yeah.
And how you act from that state. So
Yeah.
I wanted to see what I can become.
And did you find?
Yeah, yeah, of course, I had all this brain fog that everybody was talking about. I had this, I don't want to see anybody kind of states. But I also became so much stronger. And I'm like, okay, I can do anything. And I can get back to that state. It's very lean, super lean state if I want to. But of course,
I may do it at some point.
Oh, it's like a cool experience, I would say.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
It's completely different. Of course, you go on the stage, everybody's comparing you to the other person next to you, but it's also like it's pretty cool. You have this spray tan, you're like so brown that you've never been so brown before. It's crazy. Because you get like 2 layers of spray tan all over the body. Because it highlights the muscles. And it looks super cool. It's like once in a lifetime, okay, for me, twice in a lifetime experience. I was like, okay, kind of cool. I would love to do that again at some point. Maybe a little bit later. Not now. Someday. Yeah. But anyway, where can people find you if they're like, okay, I want to be this warrior like Arnau. I want to learn from him. Where are you located?
You can find me on my Instagram and you can find me on my LinkedIn. Let's just stick it to Instagram now.
Instagram.
That's mostly, yeah, it can just be reached out there. Maybe you can help me out. Because my name may be a bit hard to
Yeah,
spell.
there will be like a link in the show notes description.
Yeah.
So
It's
just go
Arnau Vidal 90.
Mhm.
That is that's where I can be easily reached. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for hosting this space, for the tea, again, for deciding that you wanted to do this with me.
Yeah.
And
Like you were saying yes. I'm like, yes.
yeah, but it was just very beautiful to be invited. And it also encourages me, seeing your like how you get it done. Because I also want to have a podcast. I just
It doesn't have to be super complicated.
No, I just love
Just
how easy
start,
you have it.
and yeah, at some point, it's not my first podcast. It's like maybe fifth. So at some point, I had podcast in Estonia, and it was about fitness, and I was talking to other bodybuilders, and I had these fancy mics, and so I had like a lot of technology. But at some point, I realized that I don't really need that. It is actually okay with this tiny microphone as well. And there's AI that also enhances the sound and can make it better. My camera quality is good already, so I had the fancy studio equipment at some point. Then I was like, okay, why do I make life so complicated for myself?
Yeah, you motivated me. You motivated me. I may do it because I have 2 podcasts recorded that I've never posted.
Ah, so you already had the first episode. So.
But I just like to have conversations with friends, just like this.
Yeah.
And
and nowadays I feel that people also want to have this authentic, raw, real. They don't. It doesn't have to be like super scripted and structured and whatever. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be honest conversation with friends because people just want to know how other people live.
Yeah.
Even like in Estonia, some of the most popular podcasts, like people just talking about their own relationship experiences.
Yeah.
Like very raw, authentic, just
yeah.
Even using like a little bit of dirty words, swearing, whatever. But it's like people are like, oh my god, I love it. They want to see the raw and real.
Yeah.
They don't want to see the, Instagram. Hey. Yeah. So just do it.
What's her name?
Mew.
Mew?
Mew. Yeah. Mew also needs to be on the scene. He's like the mascot of the podcast.
Well, she can be definitely here. Black Panthers.
Yeah.
These are interesting animals.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of cats, so I'm not gonna see.
It's like you have been approved by the cat.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now we can also upload this episode and the world can see your message. Because the cat approves. That's the test.
That was the test?
Yeah. If she hadn't come like to you, at least at the end of the episode, it's like I'm just gonna, I don't know.
I forgot, Arnau.
I didn't put the record
on. Is that actually true? Is that actually a true statement?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's hard with the guys that do it online with you.
Yeah. Because then maybe they don't get the cat approval.